Hello, everyone. This is Angie Davidson from Jackson Independent School, and today I'm going to be sharing with you about my project, Student Engagement in the 21st Century. So what I did was I wanted to find a tool that would help my students be more engaged in the classroom, and listening skills really seemed to be at the heart of the issue. We were having a terrible time with listening skills. My students seemed to have the same problem over and over, which was they never seemed to listen. This would cause them to miss important parts of an assignment or conversation, and it didn't only happen during class discussions. That was a big part of it, of course, but it was also happening during like small group settings or when they would talk to each other. They were doing a lot of yapping, but nobody was really listening to each other at all. So just drawing attention to the fact wasn't enough. I mean, we had, in several classes, we were all having the same problem. So we had drawn their attention to this and tried to talk to them about this with them, but that really didn't seem to be helping so much. So suddenly one day I just remembered something that I had been introduced to at the Ron Clark Academy because we had gone there months earlier. So how did it work? So when I was at the Ron Clark Academy, each classroom that we went into, I noticed, had a sound system. It kind of was, you could tell that the speakers and stuff were in the ceilings, and then they had all the teachers wore these microphone devices around their necks. At first glance, I figured it was just because they had a lot of visitors that came into the classroom. But then as I sat through during the classes, I realized it was a lot more than that. For some reason, those little microphones and those speakers made it feel like the instructor was speaking to you just like one-on-one. And it just really did make you more engaged. And that's when I realized that is what I needed to try in my classroom. So my hope was that it would impact my students the same way it had impacted me when I was in those classrooms, that they would be able to listen more effectively and keep the outside distractions to a minimum, which they were really having trouble doing. Students did also utilize the equipment themselves. They really seemed to like speaking into the microphone. So that was another kind of added bonus that I really hadn't thought about before. I was just really considering, the listening skills that they were having. For sharing a student experience, since of course we're all in a different setting here, I was wanting to interview some students, have some videos, do some surveys, but two reasons kind of hindered that. Not just that we're not in school, but also about a month in, my sound system malfunctioned. It was, had kind of a glitch in it, and they are going to send a new system to us. So at the beginning of the next school year, we'll have a new system in a new room because they're also doing a lot of construction to all the classrooms. So everything's kind of moved around and torn up. So, but I did along the way take some photos of the students using the system. And so I wanted to share those really quick. So the students, they really enjoyed doing projects with them. You can see this is one student, and I gave them the option of using the microphone or the neck device that you could just wear around your neck. They seem to love the microphone. Excuse me. They seem to love the microphone. That's what all of them wanted to use. And you could see here, I gave them the option of standing or sitting, just whatever was more comfortable to them. And so this is an example of one of the students. You could see she's using the microphone while she's explaining her project that you can see that's projected on the board. Went too fast. This is another student. She also decided to sit in her seat. They could sit up front or stay in their seat. She decided to stay in her seat. You could also see this is her project kind of displayed on the screen. And then finally, I do have one video. I'm going to try to play that for you.
The fungus can also affect other tree species such as oaks, red maples, staghorn.
So hopefully you can see that this student decided to come up front and he was speaking into the microphone while he was reading through his project. So they really did seem to love the microphone. So what did we learn? We did learn that it was a wonderful, useful tool that I did feel was really making an impact on student awareness. Students had different reactions to the system. Some said it really annoyed them because it forced them to listen when they wanted to zone out. That they didn't admit that right away, of course, but after some prodding, they really kind of admitted that that was the problem. Others loved it and said it would help them focus. They also love using the microphones for the presentations. So can this be used with future classes? Of course. I hope to use this for years to come. We really enjoyed it. We're really thankful for the grant money that allowed us to purchase these sound systems. Another teacher used them too, and she had success as well. We just really loved using the systems. They also have the option to connect some audio cords to, and you can play any kind of music through the system. The speakers were great. We put them in four corners of the room, and they kind of projected the sound throughout the entire room. Next year, I'd love to do some maybe before and after, kind of with the system and without, so we could have some data, even though that's next year, but I still would like to get some more data on how the students themselves felt after we'd been using it a whole year. So just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to KVEC for the grants. This has been a wonderful project, and it's also been something that is going to help my classroom for years to come. So thank you.